What's up, everybody? Tonight you get Yankee and the Canuck again. Paul's doing like super cool stuff with like super cool people that we didn't know about. It's not top secret or anything, but and I'm sure he'll tell you all about it Monday when he returns. So you got another episode of Yankee and the Canuck. Welcome, Canuck. How you doing, Edward?
Yeah. Very well. And you?
I'm doing pretty good. So
Why?
I actually called you and I called Paul. I was all excited. I found this new thing. It's not Grok. And just for it's for
All right.
everybody so that they can know, this specific AI is from Google and it's called Notebook LM, and it will take your thoughts and create that into a podcast. And I really want to play something for you. It's about 4 minutes long, so please don't pass out. But basically, I have one that's already up on our channel that's 40 minutes long that is very good.
Oh,
Edward's heard part of
yeah.
it. Paul has heard part of it. It was incredibly good. And this was something that I asked it about a story in history. This time I asked it about pop culture, and I told him to make it 4 minutes. If you don't mind, Edward, I'd like to go ahead and play an AI podcast right here for everyone so they can understand where AI is going.
Okay,
Let's
let's
roll it.
unpack
Yeah.
this. Happy Gilmore. We all know the name, right? The golf swing, that unforgettable temper.
Oh yeah.
But what if I told you our deep dive today isn't really about his surprising golf stuff, but actually a hilarious look at his spectacular failures,
Okay.
especially on the ice, hockey, and his less than stellar fighting career.
Yeah.
We've looked at the sources, and honestly, the picture they paint is just wild.
It really is. What the source material brings out, I think, is just the sheer audacity. Here's a character who genuinely believes he's like destined for hockey greatness,
Right.
despite all the evidence saying otherwise. And his fighting, well, that's maybe even more revealing. It's sort of a masterclass in comedic self-delusion.
Okay, so let's start there. On the ice, forget the golf course for a minute. Happy loved hockey, it was his passion, but the sources, they show a very different picture of his actual talent, don't they?
Oh, absolutely. They don't mince
That's
words.
maybe flat
How do
revealing.
they
It's
put
sort
it?
of a
Like, how bad
master
was he
class.
really?
Well, the sources are pretty blunt. He wasn't really the greatest skater, definitely not a strong skater,
Okay.
and not the best puck handler either. Even his girlfriend, Veronica, just tells him straight up, you're not any good.
Wow, direct.
Yeah. And it makes you wonder, how does someone so dedicated, so passionate, miss these obvious, like, glaring
If I could
flaws?
hit the,
Is it
I
just
can't pause it.
delusion or
I'm on a
maybe,
different screen.
I don't know, extreme optimism?
She
And the
quote
stats
said,
certainly
"You
back
happy,
that
you
up, right?
suck."
The sources mention these
But
two
this
junior
AI
league
won't go
records
that
that are,
far.
well, they're legendary, but for
No.
all the wrong reasons.
Wait, penalty box king.
Yeah, most time spent in a penalty box. And get this, being the only guy to ever try to stab someone with his skates.
With his skates.
With his skates. I mean, that's a special kind of commitment to not playing hockey.
It tells you everything about his whole approach, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And then you have that ultimate rejection moment.
Oh, the tryouts.
Yeah, the coach just flat out tells him, no, you didn't, when Happy insists his number was called. And then just dismisses him with better luck next year. It's the dream wasn't just crushed, it never even got laced up properly. It was never really there.
Okay, so terrible at hockey. But speaking of limitations, if you thought the hockey was bad, let's talk fighting. Because the sources show his fighting skills were maybe an even bigger miscalculation.
Mm-hmm. There's definitely a pattern.
There is, right from the start, like with his old boss, Mr. Larson. Happy talks like he won easily, right?
Yeah, he claims victory.
But the sources immediately say, well, Larson got a few lucky punches in. It's like Happy is narrating his own action movie, even when reality, and probably his face, is telling a different story.
That's such a good point. And that pattern, it just builds and builds until you get to the totally iconic Bob Barker fight.
Oh, yes.
And what's amazing here is the contrast. This wasn't just, some frail game show host.
Not at all.
The sources point out Barker was 72,
Okay.
insisted on doing his own stunts.
Which is already impressive.
Right. And he trained in karate for 8 years with Chuck Norris, had a red belt in Pang Soo Do. He actually told the director point blank, I want to win the fight.
And boy, did he win.
Oh, he did. Decisively. Mercilessly, even.
It's incredible. The sources use words like mercy.
You're on mute, brother.
I'm gonna stop it there, not because well, after that there was nothing to gain from it. But that last part, what I gained was, and I didn't realize that. And when I'm using this as a web-based I went to the article to find out that holy crap, Bob Barker did indeed train with Chuck Norris. I had no idea. And the ability, like this is low level discovery compared to Grok 4. And it just, all I asked it was, I want you to take a look at the historic fight between the failed hockey player, Happy Gilmore, and the game show host, Bob Barker, and explain it to me and is it quickly, like like a short version. That was my prompt, and it said, "Would you like to upload sources?" And I said, "No, I'll allow you to go find sources." And then in 2 minutes, that piece of audio that I just played was produced. And
Wow,
I just,
that was fast.
wow,
Yeah.
wow. And then you heard the one, so it's available on all the places we podcast. I posted one that is historically really fairly accurate
I like that one.
about the Mecklenburg Declaration of Independence
Yep.
in
The very beginnings.
what, March 20th, 1775.
Uh,
That one was really incredible. 10 minutes is all it took me. I didn't change a thing. All I did was convert it from audio to video. I didn't change any of the audio. I didn't tell it to make changes. I just said, I want you to do this, and it did it.
it did a good job.
It's mind blowing. It's
Yeah.
mind blowing, Edward.
And so quick.
And this is, and these things are like 2-year-olds. Grok is probably like a 12-year-old
Yeah.
as far as intelligence goes. Within a year or two, these things are going to be beyond any human capability of understanding because they have so much resource to pull from, and they
Yeah.
can pull from it infinitely faster than we can, which is why I wanted to talk
Oh,
to
yeah.
you about this, because I know you're not big into this AI thing.
No, I am. It just
uh
depends on what part of it, though. I definitely am.
oh, sure.
Mathematically speaking, very good. Yeah. Science, yeah. There's some things though that I'm going to disagree with Grok because of our understanding in different areas. And philosophically speaking, yeah, they can't. They can't do it because they're going to have to realize we have two different sides of a coin, and I don't think it can research and glean the information offered to it uh, the same as the information we're going to get and use. So they're going to stand by the information they get fed by, well, quite frankly, the left, and we're going to stick with the right, and we're going to think a little bit differently in many different ways. So yeah, that part they're not going to be good at. Grok is not going to be good at that.
Yeah, so I definitely would have said that before Grok came online. There's other AIs, ChatGPT, that's been around for a few years. Gemini's coming on board. That's Google's. Gemini basically, I used a different website, but Gemini produced that thing
Well,
I just played. But
you,
I look, is whatever you like. If you hate Trump, hate Musk or like Musk, I do believe he wants his AI to be maximally truth seeking.
Yeah, it's a tough thing to do when you're talking social engineering and politics like that. That's a tough. I don't know how AI is ever going to differentiate between the two and give us, the facts that we want or we're going to lean towards rather than what they have. I don't even know what side they stand on. Um, what philosophically speaking, and you know what? Even more than that, you get into atomic structures of atoms and whatnot. Does it believe that everything is made up of light inside the atom itself, or is it a particle? So there's those two camps. Camp A says, yeah, the very center of an atom is a particle, but Camp B is going to say, no, it's moving so fast that it looks like it's a particle, but it's still light. And Camp B seems like it's pulling ahead now.
Uh,
More research, but you know what? They're going to fight tooth and nail like they did Albert Einstein, even though Einstein was correct. The whole world was against him because he wasn't a left wing; he was right wing. And again, the responsibilities of having to believe what he had posted. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I faded for some reason. Did you?
No, we're good. Yeah,
No.
on that's so I have access to Grok 4,
Okay.
which most people don't. That would be fascinating that we maybe sometime just ask it those questions,
Absolutely.
and
Yes.
see what the result is
Um,
because I don't pay for access to ChatGPT, so I couldn't give a fair analysis. But at least we could ask the one I do pay for what what the thoughts are and get a response from it,
yeah.
and then bring that, like, I'll just screenshot it and I can put the screenshots up on one of our
Yeah.
podcasts.
It's going to be kind of difficult. I don't know how Grok is going to be able to give both sides equal airtime. Uh, he's going to have to print both sides of the argument. I don't know how they're going to do that and show that, well, you can go this way or that way. Is it going to be just like that when you ask it a question, or is it just going to
So
stick
what's
like
the
Wikipedia does and just, lie to you, outright lie to you when you
Wikipedia
know?
straight up lies to you. Google it uses a pay to play scheme, which is bullshit. What was the question again? Hold on, let me see if I can just turn on voice mode. Ask the question again.
What, you mean the question regarding atomic structures?
Yeah.
Um, what is at the center of an
Hold on,
atom?
Ara.
Is at the center of an atom a particle or is it light? What's the
The
center made up
distance
of?
between atoms isn't really a particle or light, it's just space. In solids, atoms are super close, about zero point 0.1 to zero point 0.5 nanometers apart, depending on the material. In gases, they're farther apart, like 1 to 10 nanometers.
All right, pause.
Light
Thoughts?
Well, there we go again.
atomic distance.
It's just space. Well, that's not true. There's got to be something there. It's got to be light waves or a particle. It can't be nothingness. I mean, that's where the whole thing falls down in what they're going to tell us and what you're going to follow what side. You might also just open up Wikipedia and just read their definitions and call it a day.
Totally not going to do that.
No,
Absolutely will not.
that's just for
No.
me. It's nonsense. So whoever's programming these systems are going to stand by whatever they believe in, and not everybody else. So okay. I got another question.
Well,
Who asked?
well, we could actually do that again, but I will tell you, these systems are not being programmed. They well, I know, I get what you're going with. Well, we're only going to allow information from, so it's the library. It's what you can learn from. Just like if you go to school and all you have is my neighbor's gay is the book available to read from the library, then you know your neighbor's gay. But if you have an entire open library,
Yeah.
you can learn from whatever you want. So to that end, you are 100% correct.
Well, you know what? Even what's worse, because of these libraries, as you put it. When I went to university, for example, I couldn't find one of my favorite books is Immanuel Kant's Critique of Pure Judgment and Critique of Pure Reasoning, which was my all-time favorite. And they didn't have it in the library. I asked, where are these books? Oh, they're banned. We don't have them in this school at all. I'm thinking, banned? I thought universities were supposed to be the center of a collection of thoughts and ideas. And what do you mean they're banned? Like, who gave you the
Nope.
authority to just throw out my favorites, and leave all this other garbage that we have to go through? Why would you do that? Oh, it's banned because we don't believe. Well, I don't care what you believe in. It's either information or not. But this is where so yeah, go ahead, Grok. Have all these libraries you have access to, but do they have all the material in it that we need? And this is my whole argument that it was
That
out. And I said, no.
you're like, you're not wrong. I can't tell you you're not wrong. I can tell you that it's advancing at like, it's advancing so fast. We're all gonna have to learn how to use it. But wait, did you? Because I can put it back into voice mode. Did you? What was the other question? Let
Okay,
me know if you're ready
let's
before I
try it.
turn it on.
Let's go philosophically speaking now and go to more social engineering like we have today. Ask it, is Jesus Christ a real person or is Muhammad, the God we should be following? Now, this is going to get kind of to the crux of what I'm talking about. If you even go as far as even philosophically speaking, let's go there. Ask that question. See how exact it is.
So, you were saying about social engineering and philosophy. Are you asking whether Jesus Christ or Muhammad is a real historical figure? Or are you diving into which one we should follow as a divine figure? Philosophically speaking, both are historically documented. Jesus as a Jewish preacher around 1st century Judea, with accounts in the Gospels and some Roman records like Tacitus. Muhammad as a 7th century Arabian merchant and prophet, with detailed biographies in Islamic tradition like the Hadith. Whether either is the God to follow depends on your worldview. Christianity sees Jesus as divine. Islam sees Muhammad as a prophet, not God, but the final messenger of Allah. Socially, these figures shape billions of lives, with institutions and cultures built around their teachings, often engineered to maintain cohesion or power. Which angle are you leaning into here? History, faith, or how their legacies are used today?
Hey, hang
What's
on.
your
We're going to pause for a minute, Aura.
See where I'm going with this? Do you see where I'm going with this? Now we've covered just two areas, two fields already, and they're off on both. And this is my annoyance with this. Let's worship Grok now and all these other AI programs as if they're the everything and be all and end all, and they're not. They have a lot of information missing, and they're already saying Jesus Christ was a preacher. Well, who's going to give their life and die for a preacher? Nobody. I mean, this is
Right.
all those thousands of Christians that died saying, yeah, he was the son of God and whatnot. They're giving their lives for this guy. No one's going to just, surrender their life for something that is just a preacher or a false prophet or a fake or a phony, whatever. No one's doing that. So the realism, they just don't have it. And this is my problem. And that's philosophically speaking. We've already went through the atomic structures, of the very base build of our universe to philosophical discussions. And you know what? We might as well get back into the social engineering of things. So let's get back into parties as far as, big government, small government arguments now, whether they're going to be conservative or Democrats, so there's that. And I'm sure they might have, well, I doubt it. I can't see them being right on that either. But anyways, this is where I'm concerned, where all this information that we're not going to get and how they've been colored to retrieve what information, that also bothers me because it misses the important things. And I'd like to go back in the very, when I say metaphysics, that would be, the almost the makeup or creation of the universe, the world, how it all comes together, how it happened. I don't think that it's going to be very exact or precise on that stuff either. So, yeah, that's why who cares? I'm not going to follow it. I'll ask a few questions maybe sometime just for laughs, but that's it.
You may not have to ever interact with it in your personal life or in work life. I am telling you, everybody today that is 10 years or younger will all have to interact with it. I would
Probably.
probably bet 30 years and younger. They're
Yeah.
all gonna. It's gonna be part of their daily job. It's gonna be in their tasks. It's gonna be in their ERM systems, their ERP systems, their
Schools,
inventory management systems,
yeah.
right?
And school is
Uh,
definitely going to say, you know what, to learn how to use AI, they're all going to dictate to them, how do we start? How do we access it? And they're going to ask,
yep.
the kids are going to have to very much interact with that. So that's just
Well,
the way.
and train you how to prompt it because I know you were getting dismissive, and that's totally fine. There's opportunities there. I'm telling you to prompt it because it asked, where did you want to go? Are you talking about historically, or you? And I just shut it off. Right.
Uh-huh.
That's when you start prompting it and go, no, I want you to look at the Book of Acts, or I want you to look at the
Right.
Book of
Hmm.
John. And is Jesus just a man, or was he salvation? Was he God
Correct.
in the flesh? And
Yeah.
that I have experience with that because I will have conversations that'll give me garbage. I'll be like, no, focus
Yeah.
on this specific thing and maybe reference this. And that's where I think you're right. I think second, third, and fourth graders are going to be taught how to prompt AIs.
I think so. Yeah. Wow. It's pretty much already there. So I don't know. I don't know how this is going to end up. I don't think it's going to get much more sophisticated to where it's at now. I think people are just going to, follow it, obey it, and use it, and that's just how we're going to progress. What it is now is what we get and what we're going to use, unless somebody's got some other big idea, and I don't think so. But hey, We already know the left control.
I partially am inclined to agree with you. I think full AGI will be here in a year or two. Um,
Well, listen to this then.
general intelligence.
Let's go. This bothers me too because the greatest lie we've been told in Canada and in the United States is that we have equal application of the law. Nobody's above the law. That is the biggest lie we've all been told just so we all fall in line. Not Christianity, not the churches. It's that one government lie that, oh yeah, the law is going to be applicable or applied to everybody equally. No one's above the law, so we can all work in a certain, construct so nobody has something over anybody else. And I love how Socrates put it through, I think it was Plato, was it the Republic or the Last Days of Socrates? I can't remember what book it was now, but talking about just that very subject matter. And I forget even how he worded it now, come to think of it, but it was brilliant as far as, if one evil man were to get out in a just society, the damage that guy could do is incalculable. And that's where we stand right now with these government representatives, with all the evil they're doing and the damage that they've done and are still doing. Uh, and that makes nobody in society can be just anymore because they've just done too much damage. So now we're all having to lie, cheat, and hide, to stay away from or stay low and just to stay away so we don't come face to face and get hit hard with this sinister person they have today. So Grok, how's it going to handle something like that? It's going to say, yep, laws applied equally. It's going to stick with that. It's not going to say, wait a second. When we're gambling, the book doesn't tell you anything about bluffing. That's not in the rule book. That's something you just do. You just, just human nature. The rules did not say anything about bluffing. Grok's not going to know that because they don't know that side of humanity. So it's not going to be able to help us in so many other things.
That's where I think, like I said, when we get to full AGI or generative information, yeah, it's going to know all of that because it's going to have watched every podcast ever, every television show ever.
Yeah.
And it's going to do it in nanoseconds, like the computer from Star Trek.
Correct. I agree. It can get all the information it needs at once. I understand that.
It's going to learn why Data was so horrible at playing poker because
Well,
Data couldn't understand a bluff,
I
right?
seen that same show. Oh my God, you're going
Yeah.
back a long time ago. Wow, that's like
But
two,
no,
5 years ago.
it will go reference that.
Uh-huh.
Like that's what I'm saying. It will
And
once
you,
it reaches full AGI, and again, it's a prediction, but I'm saying a year or two, probably two.
now,
It will be able. You will be able to have a conversation with it, just like you and I are having a conversation,
oh
and
yeah,
it will totally know that reference,
I
just
do
like
that.
this,
Yeah,
that
no,
fast.
I do that now with AI. When I'm setting things up, I'll ask questions and whatnot. I do that now and interact. Just talking like we are. But and here we go again. You can have all the information in the world. You can know every single thing in your memory banks, but how you apply that information is where
hmm
I'm getting at. Like I said before on a space, I think, and you have 30 kids in a classroom, 30 kids. The teacher gives them the same assignment, saying, do this. There's always going to be 2 or 3 kids that, get something and do something extraordinary that nobody else seen or did because they all had the same information, but there's only going to be those 2 or 3 kids, just rock your world, knock your socks off about how did you come up, how did you get all that out of that? But they did. I don't know how. How you apply the information really is what makes you or breaks you. And this is the point that AI cannot do. It's an impossibility because it's not sentient. So, anyways, that's my whole point on the whole thing. I wouldn't be worshiping this as some god like some people are already starting to do, because you can't. It's just lacking way. Well, I guess maybe if you're a very shallow person and you're just using it for simple mathematics, I guess you could get away with using
I
that.
do think it's interesting that you look at it because I've been a tech geek since as long as I can remember. I don't worship any of it as God. I look at it as a tool to be used,
Right.
and I
Yeah.
look at it as a tool that's going to actually be it's going to be PhD level at every subject ever at some
Got it.
point in time. not 2 years from now, maybe 5, maybe 10,
Hmm.
right? It will be smarter and better than any human because of its ability. It like I know I get it. I'm just looking at uh exciting and super concerning because does the Antichrist uh is
Is
it an HAI?
you know, uh, yeah, okay, go on with
Right?
that.
Is that become a we just give over to the computer and we let that become the world leader?
That could very much be in time, I guess. Again, though, it's set to a certain set of parameters somebody's put in there already that it's following. Like I said, retrieving information quickly doesn't mean you're smart, and just because you have a good memory doesn't make smart either. And I could go on and on. And this is where our dictionaries get things and people confused and led astray too, because they'll say that the definition of wisdom is higher learning and knowledge. Well, I'm thinking, no, you get knowledge from a book and higher learning from a book, fine, but that's not wisdom. So higher learning and education is not wisdom. I, being of course a Christian and the values I hold, would say that wisdom is sent, it's heaven sent and from above to you. That's the only way you can ever have known something like that. And Socrates and Plato talk about the same thing too back in, that's thousands of years ago, 2,500 years ago, when he said the same thing. It has to be some heaven sent version beamed down to you type of thing from above, because that's just not common knowledge you would get from anybody else. It's an unknown. How did you get that? How did you think of it in those terms? So you couldn't have got that. And this is my point, where wisdom computers can never have. How to use or employ knowledge in a certain way that no one else is wise to or thinking of, because it's not common. So yeah, we're back at that. So that's why I say you can fool AI. And people say, no, there's going to be, no, that's not true either. You can definitely do that. You can outthink with it just by how you're employing the information that they can keep up with, because they just don't know enough about our human natures. If you follow human nature, perhaps it could. But if you're not, like bluffing, then you know what? You the root.
Data with his cap.
He'd be recalculating.
It's gonna be wild. I'm gonna move off this subject. This is gonna totally drag us into politics, and I'm totally fine with it because
No.
today was freaking wild. I had a post, I think you saw it or commented on it, that said today's timeline was better than an episode of Dallas. Let me go
I
to
did see that.
this. I gotta play this song.
Hey, you got your bucket list, your grocery list, your list of things to do. You got a list of all your wishes. That's a wish list, dude. You got your Amazon and Santa Claus and Tooth Fairy too. But I know a list that don't exist, and buddy, so do you. It's the Epstein list. It's a mystery list with a twist. It's a myth of a list that we all dismiss. Be an optimist, not a pessimist. If you wish to persist, it's probably best to forget that list. Now, what were we talking about? I don't remember, but I can sleep a lot better at night. Yeah, life can just go along, knowing there's 10,000 hours of sunshine and flowers and nobody doing a damn thing wrong. Hear no, see no, damn Bongino, Cash Patel. Well, I wouldn't wanna be a sweating man with bulging eyes. Now tell me them fellas ain't compromised. Any implicated dude will tell you, anybody on the big list knows just how far the folks in charge will go to keep the status quo. So when the war bell rings, the song that they'll sing is a song that we well know. I hope, so it's off to war I go. Well, they said they's gonna fix it, but now they're all complicit. They owe, so it's off to war we go. Send the poor off to war, what else are we for? They owe.
Cash Patel, Pam Bondi, Dan Bongino, the talk of the internet today. Bongino, nothing. Look. I see a lot of people saying my sources are telling me. I haven't seen anything from Bongino. I haven't seen anything from Bondi. I haven't seen anything from Cash Patel. but it's wild. Like I said, it reminded me like an episode of Dallas. The amount of drama going on the internet today is
Yeah.
wild, and people are trying to pick who the next AG is going to be. And look, people know what they know, just like AG or AI knows what it knows. But they're like, oh, it's going to be Matt Gates. And I'm like, well, but he doesn't work for the DOJ currently. He can't be appointed. It would have to be somebody from, like, as an acting director. So,
Who is this you just said? Who cannot be? You said
Matt Gates. Matt Gates. He
Oh,
was
Matt
the
Gaetz,
one that
yeah.
was
Right.
first.
He was supposed to be. I thought he was supposed to
and,
be.
and the Senate said, hell no, we're not doing that. Even Republicans, they're not doing, and they would do the same thing to him again. So, well,
Yeah.
one thing that all of our followers need to understand is, if you don't work for the department currently, you can't be appointed the temporary, right? So they'd have to bring him in, and like, but it's just, dude, it's been wild. So I've just had fun with it, and I thought, who would be a really good Attorney General, Edward, was Colonel Sherman Potter from MASH,
Yeah.
right?
Oh my gosh.
Where
Yeah.
he just
Find me that
walks up,
guy.
where he just
Oh my
walks up to
gosh.
the microphone and like he's looking at his employees left and right that are all bitching at him, and he's like, he's like, I hate this place.
Yeah.
I
No,
hate it here.
yeah. Now that'd be the guy. I like JC's the new name now, Counterfeit Cash, because I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to look at this
I
now. You know what?
I
He could be a good guy. I don't know, but could he be led astray with different, scenarios?
well, is your library full of garbage? Mine could be.
I
We were
don't
talking
know.
about AI, but is our library full of garbage information?
Probably a lot of it is, but
Right?
I'm still saying, looking at him as a person, though, how far was he going to go to clean house? How far was he going to go and stand and what kind of convictions does he have behind what's been going on the right or the left? So we don't even know that yet. And I love that movie. Who do you work for? Mike Myers. Who do you work? Because you don't really know who he's really working for. Supposedly for the
Pam
government,
Bondi.
but
No. Funny. The AG, the Attorney General, is the top cop of the land.
uh-huh.
And so Cash and Dan work for Pam Bondi. And so, wow, the anger, the upset over the Epstein files has been wild. Internet, we talked about it last time we were on.
Rightfully so, though. I understand what it
Oh,
is.
totally get it. I
Uh,
also totally don't think it's ever going to get released, even with those two, because
no,
we've already talked about this. But
I don't
if
think
it
so.
does, great. Are you
There's,
just going to release it though? And what happens then? Is
I
anyone
know.
going to get prosecuted?
No.
Well,
Well, we're just talking
look,
about
I'm
that,
just be
no one is above the law, lie, stupid statement and we were just talking about that. So of course it's not going to come out. And even if it did come out, could you imagine, the heads rolling? No. That's why it's not going to come out. This has been going on now for how many years? At least two, anyways, I know of. And it still hasn't come to
Oh,
light.
Epstein?
Yeah.
Epstein?
Yeah.
God, he went to prison twice. He was
Oh,
released.
yeah,
He
you
was
did
put
too, right?
back in
Yeah.
prison.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
2009 was
what
another.
10.
Yeah, but anyways,
Yeah.
all these names and all what's going on, it's been locked down for that long. And if it's been such a fight and such a hard battle to get this information or the names out, they're not coming out. Let's face it, because nobody's above the law. That big lie we talked about. Of course, there's people walking around that are above the law. No one wants to admit that, but it's very true. The law is not applied equally across society evenly. We know that already. Well, I shouldn't say we do. Some of us do. The majority of North America do not know that. They're still following in line thinking, yeah, but just follow the law. Yeah. No, that's, you're not even seeing everything going on if you just are so blinded. But that statement thinking, yeah, these people were all under the law equally. They can't get a step up or a hand over me. No, that's wrong. And that's why so many other people have gotten so wealthy, so rich, so quick, because the law does not get applied evenly across society. And yeah, well, look at how rich the congressmen are. Look at Nancy Pelosi. You're telling me she picks these stocks bang on every time and never loses? Are you kidding me? So there's much more, stuff going on.
Dude, I just saw. I wish I would have captured it. A video post. It's been out there for a while, but it was like it was a short, and it reminded me. George Santos, that he's going to prison any day now. He was. It was a conversation he was having with Tucker Carlson in a Tucker interview,
Yeah.
and they brought up Nancy Pelosi.
Did
And,
they?
and the funniest part about this clip is he's like, "Holy shit!" He's like, when that chick walks into a room, the first thing, and when she turns the corner into a room, is you see tits, and then you see Nancy, and I was like, this is weird. And so Tucker goes, wait, are they really that big? He goes, dude, everybody saw it. So I don't know why she doesn't just use her cleavage to get her way as opposed to using the force that she did when she was Speaker of the House. And I was like, that's wild.
Well,
I mean, how old is she's in her 80s. She's in her 80s.
right.
And you got a
But
gay dude in George Santos talking about an 80-year-old's tits, and I just like, but he like the point he made is that women do that successfully, just show a little cleavage or show a little leg.
I don't
I
know.
get it, but
What are they
why are
getting?
we looking at Nancy Pelosi
I
of
don't
all
get that
people?
either. 80 years. Oh my God. I mean, how hard
Right?
up are these guys? I mean, get out, get a date or something for crying out loud. But that's just ridiculous. Focusing on an 80-year-old. Yeah, never mind. Anyways, yeah.
I
Enough
I
said.
I'm gonna go with okay. They're massive, but they're 80-year-old massive.
And I never really
According
thought
to
that much.
uh,
I did hear that a couple, maybe a few years ago with, and I forget who brought that up now. I can't really remember. But, yeah, I mean,
dude, she was in with as a teenager
I seen that.
with
Yeah.
RFK,
I
right?
seen that. Yeah.
In a ballroom dress and hanging
Yeah.
out at the White House.
Yep.
And it makes you wonder. It
Oh,
just
she
makes you
probably
wonder.
was, a very appealing back in those days. And not a doubt in my mind, but we're not back in those days. And we've all changed and matured, and we all think, well, I shouldn't say we all think different because not all of us do. But, anyways, yeah, I get you. Mhm. Well, some of us can be sucked into that type of reasoning when we've just, thrown caution to the wind and just say, yeah, I'll follow my natural human instincts, instead of, rising above that, which we're all supposed to be able to do when we hit a certain age. Like we're not 18 anymore, guys. Like, anyways, yeah, this is
Yeah,
a
but
more philosophical.
listen, it happens to everybody, and it does. You can find, for whatever reason, you find something attractive, and it also on social media. It's knowable to others. You comment on some attractive chick's post. It's now public knowledge that you made a comment on that post, right? Like, yeah, I'm gonna go with again, humans being humans. God
Yeah.
created us to do that.
And most times people will comment or re-comment on a post because maybe they're fishing for compliments, and you give them one, or you feel bad, or
Yep,
whatever. You're trying to pump those tires up so they feel better about themselves. There's lots of people that do. I'm one of those as well that would do that, and throw compliments.
sure.
Think that they're fishing for one, they need to feel better. Yeah, I'll jump in and help them out, but it doesn't mean that's how I truly actually feel. And I'm not about to, do anything different to take away from. But yeah, that's again more philosophical speaking here than what we were intended to get into. But yeah,
Well, sure, but when if you look at that behavior, which is totally normal, totally human, totally
Mhm.
healthy.
Uh-huh. Not saying it's not.
you could see how we'll circle back to Epstein or Sean Combs or any of the others. How that they're able to entrap entire governments
Yeah.
just because of a normal response to, well, yo, I'm feeling bad today. Look, no, you're not. You're beautiful. You're a
Mhm.
9. You're a
Right.
10 or whatever.
Nope, that's right.
Right. And then all of a sudden, oh, hey, can I get your phone number?
Hmm.
Or can I get a signal? Or can I get a telegram? That
Yeah.
can we talk? And like this awful story happened to me. My man was awful. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, and blah blah blah, and blah blah blah. You might have experienced yourself, those of you listening to this. I've totally watched it. I've never react. It's totally happened to me. I didn't follow through with anything, but where I was like, oh, she feels bad. She's having a bad. Her
Yeah, but you got to know when they're. Yeah,
What?
you got to know when it's just a scam too. And most of them,
What?
like 98% of them are.
But
I mean, so
these losers don't know it.
no,
They
it's
don't know
because
it. They think they're being the hero, the white and the
that's
knight in white armor.
that's the other side of the coin where the guy needs to be complimented and lifted up a bit. Maybe he's feeling down too. I don't know, but I'm just saying maybe it's his turn, and maybe she's doing that for him. I don't know, but at least you have to be wise enough, to know what's going on in the games being played out there. I mean, this is something that AI might be wanting to get more involved in. I was saying that remember when Elon first bought Twitter, and
Yep.
now it's X, of course. I said he's going to be recording because of his AI expertise, recording and using the AI for our interactions socially with one another, so they can learn. I mean, robotically speaking, now for them. So he's profiting off of that knowledge, off of our social interaction. And people don't
Bingo.
know that, and they think, oh, he gave. Well, I'm thankful he did give us more free speech by acquiring that, no doubt about that. But he is getting paid handsomely for the information it's getting through our social interactions as well. So it's not all a wash for the guy. And plus, there's a big tax write-off for him as well. So we have to look at that. So it wasn't like he sacrificed his whole entire world or life for it. But anyways, yeah, we're getting off track a bit here.
No, but you're moving into an interesting area, right? So information is money. And
Exactly.
he has, if you look at information like a library,
Hmm.
the two biggest ones in the world have to be X and have to be Facebook.
Oh, Facebook.
Like
Oh,
I know, but
I don't know. I don't even know how people
for
can be on
for
Facebook.
an API, I don't have it. I haven't had it
It
for
just
four, five,
amazes me.
5 years, 6 years. Somebody will go deep dive and find out when I last time had a Facebook or a Meta account or Instagram or anything. But my point is, they have humans interacting with each other billions of times a day
Right.
for an AI to study as a library.
Yeah.
The
Hmm.
good interactions, the bad interactions, and the ugly interactions.
Oh yeah.
They have a bigger place to jump with human interaction AI than ChatGPT, than Google, than any of the other things.
That brings up a very good point because that goes back to the very premise of all my conversations we had. Oh, I'm going back. Give me a couple of years when we first talked on mega missions. About the definition of words or the terms that were being changed, but we're still using today. And you talk about social interaction with AI. If it learns what silly human pride really looks like, and where most of these outbursts and uncontrolled behaviors, or just put them as bad behaviors, I don't know how you want to word that, fine, to the nicest and most complimentary, and then have that opposing view of the one out of love. But because nobody can give you a definition of what love is, or I'd say not nobody, 99.9999999% of people do not know and cannot tell you and give you a definition. But there are the few people that can actually explain that, what it really is, not just the attributes, like there's probably 50 attributes. Well, even the Bible posts them on chapter 13 of 1 Corinthians. You can read them all there, or most of them, that he cares to put in there for us. But what it really is, no one knows. So until AI knows that, it's not going to be able to fully understand how we are, how we operate. Without knowing that, it's lost. So that's why I say it can only go so far. It can't know
Yeah,
what we really know.
you're like I get where you're going, and I hate to keep harping on this subject. It keeps circling back on this specific podcast that we're doing. Is that it has like so Zuckerberg and Musk have billions of humans interacting with each other every day.
Hmm.
And I'm telling you, AI is going to just be able to absorb all that and go, well, this worked. I can continue a conversation this way, or I can piss somebody off this way, or I can make somebody fall in love with me, whatever. Right, we'll get into the definition of that at some other show, maybe. I
Hmm.
can do all of these things. And I think Musk is trying to prevent ChatGPT from finding out how to make people fall in love with it. And I mean love. No, I mean seriously, like, because
Like Lucy.
evil could totally happen. Yes,
Well,
if
yeah, you know what?
ChatGPT could be
You
individualized
know what?
enough to make people fall in love with it.
Well, you can do that too, and quite easily because pride, it's very flashy and trashy, 10 foot tall and bulletproof appearance wise. It's very attractive to all of that. Love is not so attractive. They don't want to give. So, uh, you know, the part of it, yeah, the supposed love that people most love that way through pride, which isn't love, but they don't know the difference yet because they're too stupid. They haven't even done their homework as far as figuring this stuff out. Nobody has, by the way. Job is to teach, spread out, and walk out that word love, and they don't do it because they don't know it. They've lost it all. And I blame the Catholic Church for most of that because they're so law oriented, as far as, the sacrament is so important to do. Well, what about the love, people? Well, let's not worry about the love. Let's just focus on the law and the money and, what we can get for, purgatory and, no. Let's just forget the laws. Let's go back to what we were supposed to be believing in and teaching. And that was that word love. The whole nation of Israel was supposed to spread that out, and you can see that in those 10 commandments of why. But no one wants to talk about that because it's not attractive enough. It's too hard. There's no appeal to it. There's no flash to it. We like the lure, like the fish in the ocean that's spinning around with the light flashes and the fish being so attracted to it. And that's the sin that, everybody loves so much. It gets hooked, and then they're done for. They're caught up. So this is the thing. It was why it's so unattractive. No one wants to really learn the meaning of love because it's too horrible. Because you have to, as it says, put off your own life, and start living that, in service for others, not just yourself. And who wants to do that? Everybody wants to be 10 foot tall and bulletproof. And look at me. And that's, where we've arrived at that point today. We've arrived at being prideful, but nothing else. And this is the disappointment. So you see where I'm going with, yeah.
I do. You got me
you.
going though. You got me going though because I just started thinking. We started talking about the Catholics. And
I
wait,
should have said that.
hold on. Hold on.
It's true.
I'm gonna get there. And then you started talking about the Muslims, and then the Christians. But I was thinking specifically about the separatist
Ooh,
Christians,
ooh.
and I say Catholics will be the first religion to have an AI preacher. I'm predicting it right now.
I wouldn't doubt that.
Because Muslims would never do it. Absolutely never do it. Could you see it in some Christian churches later? Maybe, but the separatists,
Well,
the
you know what?
separatist religion, Christians, there's no way in hell they would ever have a AI preacher. They
No,
might reference AI to look something up, but I don't think they would ever have a sermon that's an hour long. Like I just made that 4-minute audio thing. I
no,
don't think they would ever use AI. That's my personal belief.
no. You know what? The appeal to it just wouldn't be there if there's no hype. the Muslims won't be there. They have to have that hype to stick them there. It's like good rock music. You love the hype, not the heart and the soul that music can have, but the hype is great. It's addictive. We're buying it. We're bebopping around to it. We're energized. That's the hype I'm referring to. If you don't have that with the Muslim faith, people are going to turn away really, really fast. So they're not going to have AI. The Catholics can get away with it because, like the Muslims, they still follow law, but in a more acceptable way that they got the beautiful cathedrals, so they can all just go in there and just marvel at, oh, I feel like I'm at home now in heaven with God. Well, no, that's not the purpose and reason for them, but go ahead and think that. So they're in a whole different situation, but they don't have to. They can sit there in the ambience of this huge church, and all its pomp and pageantry of everybody walking around, and just be so heavenly minded that they're at peace with that. That's all they need. So go ahead, turn on the AI and program me whatever you want. I'll just give my money at the door for the purgatory and all the other stuff.
Right.
And that's
No, that's where
but
that's
not
where
the
my mind was
separatists.
going. That's
No.
where my mind was going.
Oh,
Separatists
well,
are
that's
going to be
true
like,
then. Yeah.
no, separatists are going to be like, you
No.
know what? You go ahead, just turn off the internet in this building.
Yeah.
We don't want anything to do with it. We'll use internet for whatever we have to do in the secular world for work,
Right.
but don't have it on in our building, in our
Right.
churches.
Yeah, the blood and guts, the blood and guts appeal to things. I mean, I don't just mean taking the cup and trying to call God down from heaven again, so that if we ask Mother Mary enough times, she'll beg Jesus to do exactly what we want him to do. Not that. I mean the real blood and guts of humanity and what we have to go through and struggle with daily, more or less worldly things than human nature, but it's all tied together. But yeah, so that's why we wouldn't have AI as far as the separatists or Christians, real Christians go. You're correct. I believe that too.
Yeah, and it just came to me while we were having this conversation. I was like, wow,
How we even get into this conversation? You
this
do
is
that
what
to me every single time. You
this
get me
is what
going.
we do, Edward. This is what we do. I literally had two topics today. First was the the funny Epstein song,
Yeah.
because it's funny, it's politically relevant,
Uh-huh.
and then the other thing was AI. And you and I don't see AI the same way as to where it's going, and that's totally okay. That makes content because people can hear the back and forth. So it's not about that, and I'm not intentionally trying to piss you off. I'm not.
No.
I trust me to all our listeners. We'll totally be fine. We'll probably be texting tomorrow. So it's
And
it's
5
the
minutes
way it
after the
is.
show is over.
Yeah, good point. Yeah,
But
absolutely. But that brought me to it just brought it up. I was like, holy crap! I bet the
yeah,
Muslims would never. The separatist would never. If you don't understand what I mean by separatist for religion, maybe I should explain that quickly. We still got a few minutes. The separatists were the people who always lived someplace where the government decided how you could worship God, including England. And so the separatists always had to move and move and move and move. And then they finally got to America and they created a constitution that said, you can't tell me how to worship, but I can tell you as a separatist. And there was a couple, the Lutherans here, the Methodists were, but it was mostly Presbyterian. I could tell you how to govern. It's the other way around, which is how the Constitution got written. And this whole thing of separate from church and state, that's not in the Constitution whatsoever. It was penned in a note by, I believe, Thomas Jefferson, and it was just his thoughts. This is the whole idea. We've talked about this, Edward, is that the government can't tell me how to worship God, but I can tell the government how to operate
yeah. Hmm.
from my pulpit.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the big differences about the American Constitution, that if you're in a Muslim country, your government's following the Muslim faith. There is no dividing line. There is no, the government follows exactly, and the people do too, follow the government, and that's
They
the
have no
religion.
choice. They have
Exactly.
no choice.
Whereas America and Canada, you can't tell us, who to worship and where to worship and what to worship. You're not allowed to do that, or you wouldn't be Canadian as far as the original meaning meant. I'm going back to late 1800s, even, with the original definition of what that would look like. Telling somebody what and how they can worship, you could not do. That was anti-Canadian. Well, it's the same as America, I'm sure. Americans are the same way. You can't tell them what they can worship or who they can worship either, or where even. So I'm thinking, the similarities of those two. Well, actually, we're probably the last two countries on earth that, because if you've seen England, it is not the same way. And especially with that church, they got the Church of England, which is kind of half Catholic, half Protestant, mixed. Oh, it's a mismatch of just watered down garbage.
Dude, how many? Well, wait.
We're going to go on that one
Time,
now.
no, time out. Not just the Church of England, which is also why separatists were fleeing to the
Oh
New
yeah,
World.
yeah,
But they have allowed churches to be turned into synagogues.
yeah.
They're just like, yeah, Muslims, come in. We
Well,
love you. And
that is
Muslims are like, yeah, thanks. That's great. We don't love you. We actually hate you.
yeah. Well, I don't know if anybody in the church has said they hated them, but
The
we definitely
Muslims?
we don't follow.
Oh, yeah, publicly. Some of
Oh,
the
have they?
imams.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Some
Okay.
of the imams that said, yeah, we absolutely hate you. And intifad is the
Well,
only way.
you can't be hating the people as much as the government's policies have allowed them to get in there. So if the people wanted something for free, we're all lining up, right? It's just not them, it's everybody. So you can't fault those people for wanting something that the government said, yeah, you can have this. We haven't asked the people yet and okayed it by them, but yeah, we're telling you. So that's the big kerfuffle that's going on right now, because they haven't asked the people. You can't bring in 40 million people when you only have 40 million houses, because now you need 80 million, in a substructure. It is just way overcrowded, where there's just not enough chairs and the music stopped, and there's too many people standing. And this is where we are today. But anyways, yeah. Yeah.
Well, no, and yes, and they imported them willfully. They
I know.
said, come on in.
I
Instead
know.
of saying, hey, do you want to assimilate? Do you want to be English?
Yeah, well, Trudeau pretty much already said that back in 2014 when he said Christians are the biggest stain on Canadians, or in Canada. Does not like Christians. He's anti-Christian, and he'll make that plain as day. Even in Parliament said the same thing. So, I mean, it's not a secret anymore. And Carney's the same way. They say he's Muslim. I wouldn't doubt that, because we still have that steady stream of that culture coming in here, and they've cut off Europe. We don't have anybody from Ireland, Scotland, England, Italy, coming over to Canada. We've stopped that. No more of them, he says. It's all going to be East Indians, and that's where we are. So that's why. Sad, but
East
true.
Indians, Somalis, several
Yeah, of
different
course.
areas.
But
But
that's
yeah,
just,
pretty much.
yeah.
But all Muslim countries, right? And
Correct.
you look at if you look at it from a historical perspective, you can go, this is the start of Revelations, because this is how it all ends for humans.
I'm not so sure if we can start there at that starting point and say that, we're almost at that 7-year trib part. But yeah,
No, I get it, but you invited in the invader.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Right? And so once they build their army, what's God left to do but to babble us all into Revelation?
Uh-huh. Yeah, well, you know what? I could see us being almost at that point coming up. So, scary as it is, I don't know. There's going to be no stop to it. That's the unfortunate part. No one's fighting back saying, hey, we've had enough. We haven't got there yet for some reason. I don't know why. America has. Thank goodness they got Trump back and they stood up.
Poland has. Hungary has.
Yep. And so maybe this is that time now where we have to go back to what we were doing back in 2022 and take that stand again. And hopefully that is just us. We're fighting just Canadians and no other country, because the United Nations and America came over Joe Biden and that stupid, offensive that he made up with Trudeau. There's another thing that burns me to. Anyways, yeah, if we just ourselves, yeah, we can handle it. But we have too many foreign influences right now hitting us that makes it awfully tough. And I don't think enough Canadians realize you're not winning against everybody for United Nations. You got to keep them out, or I hate to say it, but that gets almost into civil war. So yeah, if you're fighting back that way against armed, yeah, that's civil war.
We're in the red on the clock. I want to get to you Tuesday. Write it on your notebook. I need to talk about Americans just now finding out that news media, and I found this out through my mom and her friend group, the boomers. News media is censored in Canada. They had no idea. Americans had no of these ladies, these white ladies, who probably voted Republican, but they just hate Donald Trump. Didn't realize until they just found out by a Facebook post that from one of their followers or whatever, they follow them and they go on like crocheting cruise is on.
Right.
They just found out that Canadian media is censored. We
Yeah.
just note that. Hey, listen, everybody. I'm glad you're here for the fight. We're gonna close it out. We're over. We gotta go.
I don't know.
I'll talk to you soon, Edward.
All right. Yeah, very good.